Lord give this council the wisdom, discernment and courage to serve the community. Grant also that we may act compassionately and integrity in the best interest of this Shire through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. I would like to show respect and acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land and elders past, present and future on which this meeting takes place. Thank you, councillors, and those in the galleries. Welcome all to our council meeting, November 2025. Okay, Mr. General Manager, application for attending the meeting by video link. Nil. Apologies or application for leave of absence by councillors.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, two apologies, one from Councillor Shields, the other from Councillor Stoles, both are in Sydney attending the LGSW conference.
Moved by Councillor Williamson, second Councillor McGill, all in favour, against carried. Public participation, councillors, we've got two, we've got A 11.2, action to the New England Renewable Energy Zone RES revised transmission line. Michael Burke, call Michael to come up to the mic, please. You got 5 minutes, Michael. I'll let you know. I'll give you a bell after 4.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and councillors and staff for hearing myself, and on behalf of the Rural Action Group and my wife Marissa, we would like to support the motion that will be put forward by the Mayor, which effectively is the preparation for a letter addressed to Energy Co and New South Wales Minister Penny Sharp, highlighting effectively some of the concerns that our group has, as well as the groups located in the Isis Valley, as well as the groups in the New England Valley. My understanding is that the Mayor has put forward a motion, or will be putting forward a motion. What I'd also like to see in terms of the letter and the report that's been put forward is the addition of biosecurity concerns, which for us in the Rupert Valley is very relevant given the 2007 outbreak of anthrax. So with regards to the Department of Primary Industries biosecurity regulations, we believe that Energy Co's transmission line investigation reroute is in direct sort of contradiction to those guidelines or that legislation. So I'd like to put forward that I support the council's support of the motion. I think that it's very important that in this instance, these action groups, being in the Isis Valley as well as in the Gundy area, have the support of council, as we believe that the areas within the most recent investigation area bear too much affectation in terms of housing. They bear too much affectation in terms of amenity, primary production, social licence, as well now as biosecurity. We believe that we do not want to reroute it back to the old route. The Mayor has, by my understanding, put forward that old previous energy routes are those that are most preferred and also underground. We would support that. And unfortunately for all of us in this Shire, it is something that we're going to have to deal with, but we have to try and mitigate and minimise all the affectation on all of us that are living here without wanting to pass the burden on to someone else. In the rural area, there are 19 houses in the space of around about 4 square kilometres, and this investigation area effectively goes straight smack bang right over the top of those and in some of our best country, over heritage listed buildings, over a church, over all those homes, and the previous corridors were far less in terms of impact on all of those pillars that Energy Co's own 2022 guidelines actually state that they try to avoid, which is quite laughable. So we'd appreciate any support from the council. Thank you very much for hearing us.
Thank you, Michael. Any questions, councillors? Councillor McGill?
Yeah, congratulations on your presentation, Gandhi. I think that was really valuable. And Doug undertook to come back to you. Has he come back to you?
Thanks for the question. Councillor McGilly has, and we actually had a meeting last Tuesday with the executive of Energy Co, bar Doug. So the state acquisitions manager was there, the head of their engineering and technical side of the project, and the dialogue was constructive. The dialogue we thought was probably quite meaningful. We believe that we struck a pretty good understanding of all those different pillars of the guidelines that weren't satisfied by this most recent investigation area. unfortunately, I think sort of reading between concurrent conversations I've had, or sort of subsequent conversations I've had, is that I think that they're still intent on basically ploughing it straight through the middle of the current investigation area, and that they're paying us lip service. And I think that they've done that quite well. In terms of the Rupert community, we were not actually invited to have a consultation drop-in meeting as Scone, Wilson, and Asgardy were. And unfortunately, what we did get was what we thought was a pretty open and honest and constructive discussion, but I don't think that they're probably likely to change. I think that my conversations afterwards are that it's project driven and that it's now driven more or less by the milestones that they've got to achieve. It's driven by the technicians and the engineers. And if you actually look at the two different, the report that they've just quite recently sent out, which is the difference between the two routes, it does look a hell of a lot easier for them to go this way, but it's just causing all of us here and all of your constituents, it's giving us the greatest amount of grief based around all of their own pillars that they've always sought to avoid. So, yeah, they did come. It is all noted. Everything was basically discussed in a reasonably professional manner, but I don't think that it will actually probably achieve much. Because the biggest point is that where they do their environmental impact statement, which is the next formal step of the process, I think they're still intending on doing it in the same area. So unless, and we did ask them for a commitment as to whether or not they would run concurrent investigation, environmental impact statements in our area in an alternate area, or if they'd seek to do it in an alternate area to try and qualify as to whether or not they're actually going to say, all right, we are going to look at another area, and at that stage they haven't come back to us and they've obligated to do so. I think it was in probably, I think it was 10 to 12 days, so by the end of this week, but we don't have our hopes up. And so effectively we have only by strange sort of happenings stumbled across the fact that the biosecurity issues that unfortunately were quite prevalent in Rupert at the end of the 2007 drought may be because of biosecurity rules and regulations, may be one of the reasons why they may have to seek alternate routes. Nothing based on their pillars, nothing based on their compassion for 19 households. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael?
Question.
Procedural issue. Councillor McPhee's intending on declaring an interest later this meeting. I don't think it's appropriate. She because there are any conversations now.
I was just going to say, I can't speak to you because I have a purely interest.
I just,
Yeah. But,
yeah,
Anything else?
Thank you. Any other questions, councillors? No?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, council, move down to G 11.1, annual presentation, the Scone Neighbourhood Research Centre. Lee Watts, representing the Scone Neighbourhood Research Centre for the recommendation. You know the rules, Lee.
I know the rules. Resource Centre, Mr Mayor.
Oh, no.
Okay. Mr Mayor, councillors. Thank you. I stand before you tonight representing the Scone Neighbourhood Resource Centre to provide an annual update and seek continued support through lease relief. Before I begin, I respectfully request that council consider combining this report with the Visitor Information Centre report moving forward. With only 12 council meetings per year, I'm confident a consolidated report with streamlined communication without compromising detail.
Thanks.
And you don't need to see me twice a year, so yeah. SNRC continues to be a vital lifeline for our community, it's most vulnerable. A significant portion of our funding is provided by the Department of Community and Justice, DCJ, and we're currently navigating a recommissioning process. New contracts under the Community and Family Support CAFS program are set to commence in January 1, 2026. And SNRC have been invited to renegotiate an agreement for a further 5.5 years. We're deeply committed to our work and we're proud to have the backing of a strong, passionate committee. The community consistently rallies behind us, aware of the limited resources we operate with and always willing to lend a hand. Our mission remains clear, and that is to meet people where they are and to fill the gap in support. We do this through practical services such as our breakfast van, community pantry, showers and laundry facilities, and by working closely with specialised agencies to ensure holistic care. We also raise awareness and foster connection through events such as our candlelight vigil for domestic violence, NAIDOC Week celebrations, Harmony Day, and our growing Connecting Communities initiative. This event offers pampering and support for those that are doing it tough, with volunteers providing haircuts, reflexology, podiatry, and access to nearly 20 services this year. We're excited to deepen our partnership with local schools, offering training and education opportunities, and welcoming preschool children to learn about the centre and the value of giving back to their community. Looking ahead, we anticipate many hours of grant writing and advocacy to secure additional funding. Our pantry has outgrown its current space, and although we missed out on funding this year, we remain committed to pursuing resources for a building extension. In the coming months, we'll be replacing the centre's pavers, which we have done in the last couple of weeks, and the mayor came and checked them out, ensuring all doorways are accessible for every member of our community. Numbers increase in support for our community pantry, showers and laundry, and the breakfast van numbers stay steady, preparing and serving food. The Maidens Game Cafe offers a range of delicious options, but also keeping it economical so that people can just come in and have a cup of coffee. We have hiring options with chairs, tables, and cool room and quite a lot of other things that we generate income to support the programs we offer to the community as Scone, especially the most vulnerable. However, we provide those programs that I mentioned a minute ago to the wider community, and we offer things like seniors workshops, especially in the Visitor Information Centre, access to computers in the meeting room is encouraging a range of other outreach services. Thank you to the council for your continued support. We look forward to working together to build a more inclusive, connected and resilient Upper Hunter. Thank you.
Well, now, lead councillors, questions, councillor Williamson.
Thank you, Lee. Appreciate it as each year comes along. You're at the coalface of dealing with the community, Lee, as we all know, and dealing with the disadvantaged. In your opinion, and from the last 12 months that you've seen, what trends are you seeing out there, and what do we need to be aware of as councillors and community leaders?
I think one of the biggest trends is while we've been supporting families with our pantry and things like that, there seems to be a growing trend that it's single men that are most in need of homeless support. They're mainly the ones that will be living down at the field, but there was quite a lot living in cars as well. They're a little bit outside of our scope. We still support them, of course, but they don't fit within our funding criteria as well. The need for young people to be able to access further education and just be able to access public transport to get to places, it's very limited. If you don't go at 6 a.m, you go at lunchtime, and if you haven't got a car, that's something that needs to be worked on. And I know it's been worked on for many years, the train service, but I think it still needs to continue to work on to be able to provide that support to young people to get out and find out there is more than Scone, and certainly bring back those services and skills when they get them to build and grow the area that's here. So there were a couple of things, but there's so many of them. And I think one of the biggest that I haven't mentioned, but it comes along with the pantry again, is the fact that everything is so expensive. And it's not just people that are on government support that are in need of help. We've got people coming through our doors that 2 of them are working. They might have 3 or 4 children, but they just can't make ends meet. It's pretty desperate at the moment. Don't know where you can help there, but
I think just awareness.
yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions, councillors? Thanks, Lee.
Thank you.
Okay, councillors, moving down to point 7, confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 27th of October 2025. A mover, councillor Gill, second, councillor McPhee. Any questions, comment? All in favour? Against, carried. 8, disclosure of interest at the GM.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I've got two before me. The first is from Councillor McPhee, regarding item 11.2, being the Maryland New England Renewable Energy Zone Transmission Line Study Corridor. Councillor McPhee declared human interest conflict for the reason that there are potential financial implications for family members. She will leave the room during any discussion and voting. Also, I have Councillor George Fraser in regard to the same item, being the Maryland on the Renewable Energy Zone. He is declaring that human interest as a family member owns land affected by the proposed transmission line, and likewise will remove himself from the room during the discussion.
Thank you, Mr. GM. Okay, council, move to page 11 of the agenda, A11.1. Recognition of length of service, 20 years to Jamie Fitzgerald and Doug Towns. Jamie Fitzgerald was appointed by council as a registered surveyor and design engineer when council was located across the road in the old council building. During the early stages of his employment, Jamie's major focus was directed towards council subdivision developments in both Aberdeen, Perth Street and Rosedale up in Murrumbidgee. In addition to the cadastral surveys, Jamie has been responsible for developing engineering design plans for road realignment and rehabilitation works, bridge replacement programs, curbs and gutter renewal, and stormwater drainage systems in all urban, rural and regional precincts. A major achievement over the past 20 years has been the difficult task of implementing design changes for upgrade works along Main Road 62, Scone to Merrywall, and Main Road 105, Scone to Million Brook. Jamie is currently in the final stages of completing design plans for Main Street and Cayuga Street pavement reconstruction works. Jamie is and remains a valued member of the asset infrastructure team. Dougie Towns first joined council in 1990. Before leaving in 2001 to take up a work opportunity in the Northern Territory. He returned to the Upper Hunter and joined council again in 2005 in the role of a casual plant operator. After a few months, Doug secured a permanent role operating the skid steer and progressed to a position as a role operator with the maintenance grading crew, where he remains working alongside Michael Jones and his crew. Doug also fills in as a grader operator when Michael is on leave. Congratulations both to Jamie and Doug on your successful career so far and your achievements over the 20 years. Well done, both gentlemen. I'll move that from the chair. Any questions, comment? All in favour? Against? Carried. Over to page 12. The A11.2 is the action to New England Renewable Energy Zone REZ revised transmission line. Just wait till these two councillors leave the room. Again, council, I'll move, but I'd just like to add, okay, down on dot point D, down the page, to protect the environment, including the conservation of threatened and other species of native animals and plants, ecological communities and their habitats. I can put in there and the significant biosecurity risk, e.g. of anthrax. Just like to add that in there, that's just going to be in the report proposal. Moved. Any questions, comments? Councillor McGill.
Thanks for bringing this forward, Mr. Mayor. I think it's a value and it certainly reflects what the community wants us as a council to do, which is to advocate maybe more than just biosecurity. Later on in the meeting, we'll be discussing the Environment Committee and the water catchment zone, which happens to be right over this whole project. So that'll be another issue that's going to come to fruition should they wish to proceed down the Gundy-Waverley route. The other one I'm informed is there's koalas up in between Mundell and coming into our valley. There's wedge-tailed eagles. There's so much that eventually will kibosh this program. It can't come down that valley. It doesn't make sense coming down that valley. They still, as you say in your correspondence, have given us no plausible reason why they've left the other following the existing route. It's just a public bureaucracy trying to railroad through the valley, and it's not acceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor McGill. Any other question, comment? Councillor Williamson?
I'll just comment as the representative for the Southern Res Zone for Upper Shire. I've been engaged in this process for a good 12 months with various meetings with Energy Co and also representatives from across the res transmission line, and quite frankly, everybody here is quite well aware of it, but this is a mess. It is an awful mess. I've spent 12 months listening to discussions of how the proposed transmission line route was behind time, behind schedule. They weren't going to make the schedule. And so we were being told we had to push this. And we had discussed in great length that we were close to a resolution on this being the pathway. Now, without much time at all, an extraordinary meeting was called on us, not actually giving the legal amount of time as per our meeting conduct, that this had all changed. Everything was out the window. Everything that had to be done immediately was out the window, and we had a much better line, much better route to follow. So this for Energy Co is just an unassailable mountain. Never mind moving this here. We're well behind the timeline already. They started penny pinching pretty quickly, and we're going to start seeing transition of different staff. We were actually discussing, this is the length of discussion, in 12 months' time, the timeline has us moving to have this move from Energy Co over to the contractor, whoever that will be, Transgrid or whoever. Now that's not going to happen, obviously, but that's the original timeline that we've been discussing. So how this goes forward now is going to be fascinating and very impactful to many of our residents within the Shire here and within the whole project zone. The landholders that I've been discussing with from the original pathway, we're looking down the barrel of revaluations of their land, losing up to millions of dollars of large parcels. And they just come to the position where they've negotiated and realised that they were fighting an uphill battle, only to have a stroke of a pen change everything overnight. So it's going to be a really interesting discussion over in Muswellbrook on the 3rd of December when we reconvene for the community reference group, where we're supposed to give advice as to what our residents have communicated through us. And a meeting that's supposed to be no longer than 3 hours, I think that we might challenge that. But I do hope that I can take forward some relatively clear information to the Energy Co personnel through the community reference group in early December. But yeah, I fully endorse the motion that we've got in front of us today, and we'll continue to. Everything must be on the table now. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor. Any other questions, comment? No. If able, councillor Williams, I'll try and make that meeting on the 3rd.
I'll get the placards.
Look, I think it's very important, Councillor, we're having a handstyle behind our back a bit, I think it's important that we do support our residents, and that's wherever they are in the Shire. And I've been to a few of those meetings and it seems to be all around cost, so. You know, I made it very clear, our land's worth a lot of money and our residents mean a lot to us, so. Well done, thank you for supporting the motion, and I'll put the motion up, all those in favour? Against, motion is carried. Pulled up to me, please. Okay, councillors. To Councillor Fraser, Councillor McGill, that was passed in the affirmative with the words just added under D and the significant biosecurity risk example for Antrax. Was carried, all in favour, thank you. Okay, over to page 18, no mate, was anyone like to? Please, no, all right, please go. Okay, over to page 18, the Environment and Community Services. All parts of the recommendation, move up. Move Councillor McGill, second, Councillor Clout. Any questions, comment? Councillor McPher, Councillor McGill.
Did you?
Yeah.
You have to go.
The water catchment map is part of this report, and as we just said in the previous part of the business, it will play a significant role in the course. So I would recommend this report.
Councillor McGill, Councillor McPhee.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Councillor McGill. It's very concerning that our water catchment area may be compromised by any major construction of transmission lines.
Thank you. Any other comment, question? Put
Some single shelter.
the motion, all in favour? Against, the motion is carried. Over to page 26, infrastructure services. Move up. Move Councillor McPhee, second Councillor Clout. Any questions, comment, discussion? Councillor McPhee.
So last month, we were actually at Maryborough for this meeting, and we got to have a look at the new reconstruction of the M358 and how fantastic it's looking. I'd just like to say a big thank you to everybody involved, and I'm really looking forward to that being open in a matter of weeks.
Councillor McPhee, I think we all agree. No more questions, comment? All in favour? Against, carried. Over to page 31, the Corporate Services Committee, 3 points of the recommendation. The mover, move Councillor Fraser, second Councillor Williamson. Questions, comment?
Yes, just in respect to the minutes, part of these minutes, normally there's the grant report. I'm sure you know, but last Friday, Regional Arts announced the arts grants, and council was successful in getting a grant application up for the Kiora Music Camp. So congratulations to everyone involved. Also, Arts Upper Hunter, who we are partners with, they were successful in getting a grant up. On a personal level, unfortunately, the Murrurundi Festival didn't get a grant up. We'll go and skin that cat another way. But congratulations on the grants that you have successfully advocated for. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comment? All in favour? Against, carried. Over to page 37, G 11.1, already had the annual presentation, Scone Neighbourhood Centre. Got a mover, it's just to receive the presentation, which we've already done. Move Councillor Clout, second Councillor Ryan. Questions, comment, discussion? No, well done, Lee. All in favour, against, carried. Over to page 40, G 11.2, yes, the code of meeting practice. Councillor McGill, second that, Councillor McPhee. Any questions, comment, discussion?
Just tell me what it means.
All in favour? Against, motion is carried. We move over to page 86, which is the 2026 Australia Day Awards nomination. We might Get someone to move that we, after close, we bring this back into open. Just going to move Councillor McPhee, second Councillor McGill, all in favour? Against, carried. Over to page 89, G 11.9, the 2024-2025 annual report. Everyone's read it. Going to move up. Move Councillor Williamson, second Councillor Ryan. Any questions, comment, discussion? All in favour? Against, carried. Over to page 91, G 11.5 is the New England Renewable Energy Zone Res Transmission Line Study Corridor. This is just a response, Mr. GM, to the submissions we received. 2 points of the recommendation. Got a mover, Councillor McPhee, second Councillor Gill. Any questions, comment? Councillor McPhee.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I think, given that this doesn't impact any decision by council, that's not a problem for either of the two councillors who have declared conflicts to speak.
Here's Councillor McPhee. I thought you were going to be told to sit down again.
Yeah, well, that would be hard, wouldn't it? So as someone who's seeing people being directly affected by this, myself included, the Energy Co has done a rollout, which if it were done in the corporate world, they would actually probably be insolvency by the end of the week. There's been a terrible rollout in terms of the way they've communicated this to the residents that are affected. It all smacks in the face of due diligence. It is rushed. People are feeling that they have to do things under duress, and I really appreciate support by this council. There is a group that is going to be representing landholders for this, because people are feeling that they're being picked off one by one, and we believe that this is affecting the whole valley, which means it's not just affecting one landholder, it's affecting many, and it's affecting those around them. So I just think Energy Co should be put on notice, because if they think they can just come in and steamroll, I think they're going to find a very nasty surprise in that valley.
Councillor McPhee, any questions, comment? Councillor Ryan, Councillor McGill.
Just in moving this resolution, I think we're telling the community we're listening to you, we can hear you, and we will advocate on your behalf. And I think that's important that our community knows that council's not abandoning them. We will work with you to try and get the right result for our community.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just thought I'd wait for this second resolution to make a comment. We had a couple of fairly lengthy response to the previous one. It's just a slightly different perspective. This is like Groundhog Day. We went through this process 2-3 years ago on the Maribor Plateau, and I encourage those that have put their thoughts forward to continue to do so. I think the lack of opportunity for people to comment on this is certainly one thing, but for me, fundamentally, this is just a lack of or a failure of planning. The absence of that means that consultation is largely irrelevant. And I think that's what people are putting forward in no uncertain means, and I think they have to continue to do that. This is a very blunt instrument. These state significant infrastructure projects, and it's an enormous amount of power, and it just indicates that there's a fundamental lack of planning that's been behind this process. So well done everybody for raising their issues, and I hope they continue to do so.
Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. Any other questions, comments? All in favour, just a note. Against, carried. Over to page 96, C0R11.1, Appreciation Messages Quarterly Report. Can I just add to this, Mr. General Manager, that I attended a Walmsley family funeral down at White Park. They asked me to pass it along to council and management staff how brilliant it was set up. Very, very much appreciated on a hard time like they had, and they were absolutely stoked on the way that council supported them. So recommendation, council is in front of us there. Got a mover. Move Councillor McGill. Seconder, Councillor Clout. Questions, comment, discussion. Councillor McGill.
Yeah, look, I just add to the written responses that council has received. The social media, certainly since the repairs to the Murrunda Tennis Court and repairs to the horse cross to Murrunda, positive feedback from our community up there. Hundreds of people are right on board, and thank the community, thanks to council for paying attention to some issues in Murray that are really important to the community. So thank you.
Councillor Gill, questions, comment? All in favour? Against, carried. Someone like to move us into closed council? Move Councillor Gill, seconder, Councillor Williamson, all in favour?